Good morning everyone. This is Mr. Supnil Bapusab Herwade, the lecturer in Shri Institute of Technology Polytechnic at Rao, Ichalkaranji. I am here again with my new lecture on tempering process. As we have covered the first four lectures on the introduction to the heat treatment process, then what is annealing process. In second, we have covered types of annealing process. Third, we have covered again some few types of annealing process, and fourth, we have covered the hardening process. Okay, so till this we have covered total three types of heat treatment process. In this lecture we are going to see the tempering process. Okay, see, as we know, the heat treatment process is nothing but the combination of heating and cooling of any material. It may be a solid, it may be a alloy. Okay, it may be a metal or it may be a alloy. Okay, so see, the total heat treatment process have 4 to 5 types. In that, first is the annealing process. In that, we cool the heated material in furnace. Then we have normalizing process. In that, we cool the material in air, and in hardening process we cool the material in water. So we can compare the processes on the basis of their cooling. As we know, if we cool the material in liquid, that cooling process will be faster than that of air and that of furnace. Okay, so the furnace cooling is slow process, air cooling is optimum fast process, and water cooling is highest fast process. So we have the high cooling process. Okay, high cooling rate. So we can differentiate the processes on the basis of their cooling rate. Okay, so see, this hardening process, as it have the high cooling rate, so it can cool the heated material within few seconds. But when it cools the heated material within few seconds, there are some chances of any residual stresses present in that cooled material, or any cracks may be present in the material. Okay, so that residual stress can be removed with the help of tempering process. So tempering process is always followed after the hardening process. Remember this one. Okay, tempering process is always followed after the hardening process. In hardening process, what happen, as it have the high cooling rate, it cools within few seconds. Okay, so it does not produce what the hardness we want. It produces the high hardness, and the high hardness tends to have the high brittleness, and brittleness will have the cracks in material. Okay, so that high hardness of the material can be get reduced with the help of this tempering process. So tempering process is always followed after the hardening process. Okay, remember this one. So this, in this lecture we are going to see the tempering process, its process and its purpose. Then we will go through the types of tempering process, like based on the temperatures we have three types: low temperature tempering, medium temperature tempering, and high temperature tempering. Okay, and then last two process we have, that is Mahr tempering process and Haas tempering process. So this is a general overview what we are going to see in this lecture. Okay, so see, we will start with the introductory part. So this first, tempering process, as it is a process of heating the hardened steel. As I said earlier, tempering process is always followed after the hardening process, because hardening process produces the martensite phase, which is the hardest phase, and for that phase, or with that phase, we cannot do any machining operation on any material. Okay, so to perform any machining operation any hardened material, we must do the tempering process after the hardening process, so that we can have a machining operations on the hardened material. See, as material is harder one, if we gone for the operations, any drilling operation or any boring operation, then that hardened material may get crack in it. Okay, so that crack, when that crack get extends, it will tend to have a failure. Okay, so hardened materials are never be used for operation purpose. So first they are get tempered, and after tempering they are used for the various operations. Okay, so see, tempering process, it is a process of heating the hardened steel to a temperature below the lower critical temperature. Means after the hardening process, in tempering process we heat the hardened steel below the 727 degrees Celsius. We cannot go above the 727 degrees Celsius. We heat the hardened steel below the 727 degrees Celsius. Okay, so next, the martensite which is formed during the hardening process is too hard, brittle, hence cannot be used for many cases. Also, the residual stress are developed in steel during the formation of martensite. Residual stress means as we have the high cooling rate, that austenite which is formed during the heating of the hardened steel, it cannot change into a martensite totally. Some sort of retained austenite present in the hardened material. Okay, that retained austenite means that is a residual stress that can be removed with the help of tempering process. Okay, then cooling the heated hardened steel in water, oil or air slowly so that we can have the we can get the tough material, so it can increase the toughness and reduce the hardness. What is the main output of the tempering process is to reduce the hardness of the hardened steel so that that material can be utilized in various operations, that can be utilized for various applications. Okay, so tempering process is generally used to decrease the hardness of a hardening material or the hardened material. Okay, so see next, purpose of tempering process. First, minimize the residual stress. Residual stress means the stress will tend to have a crack in a material. Okay, so if with this stress, if you do any machining operation on a material, it will always have a cracks in it, or it always produces the cracks in material, and that crack will lower down the strength of the material, and it always have the chance of failure of that material. Okay, next, improve the ductility. Tempering process always decrease the hardness. As there is a decrease in hardness, there will be improving the ductility. Okay, then improve the hardness. Here improve the hardness means, here the hardness in the case in the sense of optimum hardness, it is just not less, it is not the high, it will be the optimum hardness. Improve hardness means we are decreasing the hardness from the critical range of the hardness. Okay, we are getting the optimum hardness so that it can be used anywhere in any applications. Okay, so reduce the hardness as it is the main purpose of the tempering process. Then increase the percentage of elongation. This means when we do any machining operation on a material, it have friction between the tool and the material. As there is a friction, there will be heat generation in the material. That heat generation will have some sort of elongation in the material. Okay, when we heat any hardened material, it doesn't have the high percentage of elongation. If the material having the optimum hardness, it will have the high percentage of elongation. It will elongate as there is a heating source is there. Okay, as we seen in the first lecture that there is a always there is a thermal expansion in every material. So this is what about the thermal expansion. Okay, increasing percentage of elongation. When we heat any material, it will somewhat elongate. That when we have the optimum hardness of material, it will must elongate. If we have the hardened material, then it will elongate but with the lower percentage of elongation. Okay, next, remove the retained austenite. Retained austenite means with the high cooling rate we may have some sort of austenite present in the material, so this can be removed with the tempering process. Okay, then stable structure is obtained. Stable structure means the uniform structure is obtained. Next we have these types of tempering. As we see, the types of the tempering can be differentiated on the basis of their temperatures up to what we heat the hardened steel. First, low temperature tempering 150 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius means this range. Low temperature tempering means from the range of 150 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius we heat the hardened steel. We only take the hardened steels. Okay, because tempering process is always followed after the hardening. So in this tempering process we always use the hardened steel. We never take the raw material from any material. Okay, we never use the raw material, we use always the hardened material, because tempering process is always followed after the hardening process. Remember, see, low temperature tempering 150 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius, we heat the material up to 200 degrees Celsius, we hold there, we cool in a air. Okay, see applications. This used in cutting tools of carbon steel and low alloy steels. Next we have medium temperature tempering, that is temperature ranges from 350 degrees Celsius to 450 degrees Celsius. Application, that is coil spring. Coil spring means this coil spring you can see in two-wheelers. We have the coil springs for the suspension purpose. Laminated springs will be in the heavy vehicles like the trucks, the tractors. Okay, we can see the laminated springs for the suspension purpose only. Then we have the hammers, we have the chisels. Okay, so these are the applications of the medium temperature tempering. See, if we take an example of coil spring. Okay, if we use as it is a hardened coil spring, what will happen? When there is any suspension activity, if there is any shock from a ground to the two-wheeler, that coil spring will have some cracks in it, okay, so that it will get fail, and that whole shock from the ground it will absorb in you. So coil spring, that hardened coil spring, when we done the tempering process on it, it will decrease its hardness so that it can absorb the shocks from the ground easily, and that shock cannot be transferred to the traveler, okay. Same way, see, high temperature tempering. Here the temperature zone is 500 to 650 degrees Celsius. The applications are connecting rod, shafts and the gears, etc. So these are the three types on the basis of their temperature zone. Okay. Next, this is next two process we have, that is Marr tempering process and Aus tempering process. Okay, these are not the tempering process from the way we have studied that after hardening process we do the tempering process. These are the two separate types of tempering processes. See, Marr tempering process, in this again we have the same thing, heating, cooling and holding process. Okay, see what I have written here. So this diagram is nothing but a temperature time transformation curve. We can say it as a temperature time temperature transformation curve, or we can see it as a C curve. So this looks like a C. So this is C curve, or we can see it as S curve. See here we can see the S. This can be called as S curve, or we can say it as a Baines curve, because the Bain is a scientist who founded that. So it is a Baines curve. So this diagram can be called as by four names. This is time temperature transformation curve, that is T curve, or S curve, or C curve, or Baines curve. Okay. So see, this line, this dotted line is nothing but a 727 degrees Celsius temperature. This dotted line means 727 degrees Celsius temperature. Okay. So see, from 0 degrees Celsius we heat any material above this dotted line up to 800 degrees Celsius, 900 degrees Celsius. Then we cool the material. See, this blue line will show the cooling process. Blue line will show the cooling process up to where we have two lines, MS line and MF line. As it is a Marr tempering process, this will produce a Martensite phase. Okay, so see, MS means here, MS means this is a Martensite start, MF means Martensite finish. Okay, so see, this blue line will be the cooling process. We will cool it in a salt bath just above the MS line. This MS will have the temperature of 250 degrees Celsius. MF will have the temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we cool the material from 800 degrees Celsius to 300 degrees Celsius just above the MS line, and we hold there. We cannot cool below the MS line. Just we cool up to the MS line, just above the MS line up to some 300 degrees Celsius. Then we hold the steel here for some time, so that this austenite cannot get converted into bainite, and after that we again cool it in a martensite zone. This zone will be called as a martensite zone. See here what we have, martensite start when this curve will cross over this red line, our austenite will start to convert into martensite, and when this dotted line will cross this below red line, that austenite totally converted into martensite, because this red line shows that this is martensite finish line, this above line shows that this is martensite start line. So okay, so at this point we will have the martensite phase. So the process which will give you the martensite as the output, that will be the Marr tempering process. See what I written here, heated to above the critical range means heated any material above this dotted line, that is critical range, or that is above the 77 degrees Celsius. Then quenched or cooled in a salt bath maintained at a temperature above the MS line, means we can cool that heated steel in a salt bath just above the MS line, and here we can hold that up to for some time to get a uniform structure, and then we again cool it in a that salt bath only from MS to MM, so that at the output we can get the martensite phase. So see, after holding period, the steel is cooled in air through a martensite range, so that at the end we can get the martensite phase. So in this process we get the martensite phase. So this is called as a Marr tempering process. Same way, next we have the Aus tempering process. See, here also we have the same thing, that is this MS means Martenside start, this EMF means Martenside finish. This curve is called as S curve or C curve, or we can say Bain's curve, or we can say time temperature transformation curve. See, here we have on this x-axis we have time, on y-axis we have temperature, and this way curve will have some transformation. So this will say as a time temperature transformations curve. Okay, so see here, this Aus tempering process, as in a Martempering process, we got the Martenside phase, and in this we are going to get the in this we will get the bainite phase. Okay, so see here, Aus tempering process, the steel is heated above the austenite temperature range. So again same here, here we will have the steel, this will be heated above this dotted line, and again cool the steel in a salt bath just above this MS line. Here the difference is that in the Martempering process we hold the steel for some time only from this to this, but this in Aus tempering process we hold the steel for long time period, so that it can so that it can this austenite can totally convert into bainite. In last process we have cooled it from here to here, in this process we cool it from this range to the bainite, means this process will hold for a long time period, so that austenite will be converted into bainite. So see, the steel is heated above the austenite temperature range, means above this dotted line, then steel is cooled in a austenite temperature range to just above the MS temperature. From this we can cool up to the just above the MS line. Then the steel is held above the MS line such that austenite decomposes. From this we have the austenite range, this austenite will decompose into bainite, and this bainite is the softest structure. Bainite will have the soft structure, so that this process is called the Aus tempering process. In last process we have the Martenside phase, which is a hardest phase, and in this process we have found the bainite phase, that is softer ones. Okay, so the production of lower bainite is called Aus tempering. Bainite structure is softer than the Martenside structure, but have the better ductility and impact toughness. Okay, so these are the two types of the tempering, that is Martempering process and here Aus tempering process. In Martempering we have Martenside phase, here we have bainite phase. Okay, next, so advantages of Aus tempering: it will have the greater ductility and toughness, having optimum hardness, less distortion, because we have the phase, that is bainite, which is a softer one. Then we have the less danger of cooling cracks, because cooling is not as strict, because of the high holding period. After that we have cooled the material, and almost uniform structure is obtained. So these are the advantages of Aus tempering over the Martempering. So this is all about the tempering process. Okay, so thank you one and all.